Well, hello there. Welcome to the very last day of Stitch 23 in 23. I'm delighted to be here with you today, and I'm so glad that you took the time out of your schedule to join me because I'll bet you're curious about what is this thing I'm talking about with needlepoint style. So, your needlepoint style is really the way that you add your unique twist to your needlepoint canvases. So, something I discovered when I had my needlepoint shop was that my customers tended to gravitate towards one of four different needlepoint styles. The very first style is the minimalist style. Now, the minimalist style, this style, a type of stitcher tends to prefer abstract designs, very simple designs. Think Charlie Harper. Charlie Harper is a classic example of the kind of canvas that would appeal to someone who has a minimalist type of needlepoint style. Then, beyond that, you have the person who considers themselves more traditional or more of a classic stitcher. And so when you think in terms of, florals and landscapes and what are some other things? Those two Santas, that's in the holiday pieces. Really traditional kinds of designs are what a lot of people who classify themselves as classic or traditional stitchers tend to gravitate towards. Then you have what I call the frou-frou stitcher. These people love to just throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at their needlepoint projects. They love to use decorative stitches and fancy threads and beads and baubles and all kinds of fun things to really embellish the canvases. So when you think in terms of someone who likes that really likes to frou-frou something up, there's a canvas by Kate Dickerson Designs that is actually a portrait of Iris Apfel, and I'm probably butchering her name there. So forgive me if I did, but to really take a design and giggle it up and make it super fancy. And then you have the stitcher who is more of an eclectic type stitcher. This person may tend to like canvases across a whole variety of genres. So they may like canvases in some cases that are very simple designs, geometrics, or those more abstract pieces like the Charlie Harper canvases. In addition to that, they may also like to stitch some pieces that are more traditional or more classic in theme. Maybe they love to do things for Christmas or for Halloween, and the designs tend to be more traditional in nature. And then they may also, in addition to liking to do simple designs with the minimalist type of perspective and the classic designs, they may also love to every now and then pull all the stops out and stitch things, with all just really embellish the take things over the top with embellishments, stitches and threads and baubles and fun things like beads and findings. So if you find yourself liking to stitch more simple designs, liking to stitch things that are more geometric or more abstract, chances are you are a minimalist stitcher. And one way that you can actually identify or help yourself identify what type of a stitcher you are, take a look around your house. If you have more of a minimalist type of decor in your home, chances are that's going to be reflected in your needlepoint style as well. Same thing holds true for you if you have your home is decorated in a more traditional or classic style, then chances are you're going to be attracted to those designs and like to stitch things in a more classic way. A lot of people that like to stitch that have the classic style of needlepoint tend to like to work projects in tent stitch or basket weave. Don't really like to use a lot of fancy threads or fancy stitches. They just like to keep it simple. The design can be complex, but they don't necessarily like to use lots of different embellishments to really make that canvas get jazzed up and look super fancy. And if you love ruffles and lace and all kinds of fancy plush fabrics, chances are you may find yourself gravitating towards those canvases that you can really dress up with all those fun finishes. And then finally, again, if your home is really a reflection of your personality, we all have different personalities. We all tend to be an eclectic mix. I find myself at this point, especially in my needlepoint adventure, being more of an eclectic stitcher. Sometimes I like simple designs. There may be a Charlie Harper canvas that really speaks to me, and so I want to stitch that and try my hand at coming up with some interesting ways to approach that canvas. While at other times I may want to stitch something super classic and traditional. Perfect example of this. We just had a little granddaughter back in June of last year, and I'm stitching her Christmas stocking. And her mama, our daughter, really likes things that are more traditional in nature. So the stocking is very likely going to be primarily worked in the tent stitch with maybe some different textured threads, but nothing over the top fancy. So I'm looking forward to working on that project as well. But also, every now and then, I love to pull out all the stops. I love to use beads and ribbons and all kinds of fancy threads and stitches to really add depth and dimension to a canvas. So, like I said, I find myself gravitating towards all different kinds of projects. I think you'll find in the beginning, especially once you're really just getting into needlepoint, you'll probably gravitate towards one particular type of needlepoint project in the beginning. And then as you get experience, you'll dip your toe in the water with some of those other kinds of projects. But I would love to know what you consider yourself. Are you a minimalist stitcher? Do you find yourself liking to stitch projects in the classic tradition? Or do you like to really gee-gaw things up and make them fancy? And are you a frou-frou stitcher? Or are you like me and you tend to be kind of all over the map and like doing all kinds of different projects? Tell me in the comments down below. And before I go, I do want to make sure that I share with you some different images so that you can get a good idea. I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see what some of the different styles might be, the kinds of canvases that might be appealing to the particular needlepoint styles. So now let me hop over here and I'm going to, let's see, we're going to share my screen. So hold tight and I need to pull up that image. So here we go. This first one is Charlie Harper. This is a Charlie Harper canvas. This is called Sanderlings. And while you could really do some fun things with some interesting stitches and threads, this canvas is very abstract, geometric in its design. So, somebody that likes a lot of detail is not necessarily going to be drawn to this particular kind of canvas. And there are some other designers that, Melissa Prince is another example of a designer that has a lot of designs that are more abstract and geometric in style. Now, she does have some that are more traditional too, but a lot of her designs tend to be a little bit more on the abstract side. All right, so let me pull up another canvas. So I'm going to stop that share, and then let me pull up another one. This is what I would consider this canvas by Dee Dee Ogden, Dee Dee Designs. I would consider this more of one of those designs that is a traditional or a classic type of a needlepoint project. So this is Magnolia. It's a giant magnolia. So the design, the actual subject matter itself is very traditional, very classic in nature. And yet you can take this and you can dress it up with different threads. You could work this entirely in tent stitch and it would be just as beautiful as it would be if you did choose to fancy it up with some decorative stitches though. So beautiful design and more in line with those classic or traditional, I think, style of stitching. All right, and next, let me pull up one that I would consider a design that would be really super fun for somebody who loved to really fancy things up. So let me stop that share and share this picture. This is the canvas, the Kate Dickerson design that I was sharing with you or talking about just a second ago. It's Iris Apfel. And I mean, can't you see just really jazzing this up with some fancy threads and beads and findings and all kinds of funky stitches, I think it could be really, really fun. So this would be one that really lends itself well to using lots of different types of embellishments. And then finally, a canvas that you could do all kinds of fun things with, but you don't necessarily have to go over the top with, is this design by Amanda Lawford. And let's see, here we go. We get that pulled up. And here it is. It's called Coral Reef Crab. And I can see doing some fancy things on this, but you don't have to really go over the top with it. So you could absolutely find this kind of a canvas appealing if you were more of a traditional type stitcher. It would be equally lovely stitched in tent stitch as it would adding some embellishments and some decorative stitches and threads to it. So there you have it. All kinds of different fun things that you can do to embellish your canvases, different styles of needlepoint that you might try exploring. And again, tell me down in the comments below what you think your needlepoint style is, because I always love to hear from you. And now I will call it an afternoon. Thanks for ever so much for being here with me. And oh, I see, look, we've got a couple of folks here who have already shared. Alice has said that she is an all over the map stitcher. She loves doing decorative stitches, but she also likes traditional things too. And then Bree says that she's beginning to evolve into becoming a more eclectic stitcher. So I think, like I said, that's what you find so many times when you start out. You really are drawn to one type of needlepoint style, but as you begin to develop your own personal needlepoint style that you can then use and express on your projects through the application of decorative stitches and fancy threads and embellishments and things, I think you'll begin to develop more of your own personal style, which in many cases does tend to be eclectic. So thanks so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a terrific rest of your day. And until next time, friends, happy stitching. Bye for now.